to identify that veteran, and it would be verified by the MVA, and so that is one initiative. That and also to help in connection with that, to help have the various businesses have a sign in the window. We support our veterans, something to that effect. We have an actual more formal format that we have designed and presenting to through the chain, but that might encourage more of the veterans to shop at those particular businesses, be it restaurant or cleaners or whatever the need may be, and hopefully that'll take off. One of the other issues that we are pursuing right at this moment, and of course this involves money, so I'm not really sure. Well, we have an idea how this may work. We kind of like to follow a format of 3 other states in the country that have a Veterans Hall of Fame. I've been fortunate enough to work with Ohio, which is one of the states that has a Veterans Hall of Fame, and it is a really big affair. They really put a lot of time into it. It's paid for by the various veteran service organizations. Very little money, if any, is output by the state, and it's a very formal affair. And they induct 10 or 20 inductees every year, and they have a big dinner, and then they have a hall, and it's very, very well done, and has nothing to do with 36 years in the military. You know, that's not the main consideration. It has to do with being honorably discharged and what you have done for a veteran since your release from the military, and that's what it's based on. And so we're pursuing with that, and hopefully we'll have something. Well, a target date is Veterans Day of 2010. See what happens, of course, on that. We just have to, if there's no cost to the state and everything, certainly we will have better luck at something like that. And that's when we need to bring in the Marine Corps League and Purple Heart and the American Legion, VFW, and AMVETS, and see if we can work a partnership. Another one of the initiatives that we're working right now is partnering with other states, especially our border states, to see what the best practices of those states are, so that we can capitalize, see how they may work in Maryland, and see how Maryland practices work in Pennsylvania or Delaware. I have had contact with Pennsylvania and Delaware, and they certainly are open to sharing information, and that way we won't have our veterans too anxious to move across the state line to get more benefits or better benefits than what we offer here in the state.
Well, I know Ray has a few issues that he's anxious to talk about. So Ray, why don't you go ahead?
Well, going back to the license, driver's license, you know, a lot of times veterans move, they have fires, there are floods, DD-214s are lost, sometimes they're hard to find. And St. Louis had a really large fire at one time, and this might be a good way to prove to a funeral director that this person was a veteran. And it's immediate, and of course it's best to have the documentation, but this is another good way that it would serve the family, because you know, we never know when we may not even have breakfast tomorrow morning, and things happen. The other big thing that I was wondering, and I know the Maryland Veterans Commission will be very instrumental in this one, is Charlotte Hall is about 86% filled up now.
Yes, it is.
I was very surprised at the last, when I gave the last report at the Maryland, or JVC meeting last month. I got it from Sharon down at the Charlotte Hall, that they're about 86% full. And when I was on the commission, the big deal was once we got to 90%, they were going to start looking for another home here in Maryland. Whether it be the Eastern Shore, whether it be Baltimore, whether it be Western Maryland, but I guess they're going to have to go where the numbers are. It must probably in the middle of the state. Do you have anything on the horizon right now that where we might be pursuing that?
Yes, excellent point, Ray. Thank you very much. We had discussed that briefly at the last JVC meeting. Yes, of course, being from Western Maryland, I'm partial to the opportunities up there. We, the Western Maryland veterans, have been given handshake promises, if you will, that we would get the next veterans home when Charlotte Hall became 90%. Of course, at that time, all these years, it had struggled, wasn't doing really well, wasn't filling up. Well, it's getting there, and it just so happens that 90% figure is falling at a time, or is happening at a time when we happen to have a structure in Washington County, Western Maryland, Washington County, that could be used with very little renovation for purpose of veterans, homeless veterans. It's called the Washington County Hospital. They're building a brand new one with occupancy, I believe, in 2011, late 2011. And the owner of the property right now, they're deciding whether they want to demolish it or if they want to sell it. Well, we've had a number of officials from the state of Maryland come up to Western Maryland, up to Washington County, to view various locations throughout the city and the county over the past years. A number of veterans organizations have been contacting me as recently as yesterday afternoon. They really like to see this opportunity to at least have it looked at. And so I don't know what the asking price is. The chief financial officer has asked for a face-to-face, and I hope to be able to bring the appropriate person. We're just talking, just getting information kind of a meeting, and to see what can be done, if anything at all. What a great opportunity. From another aspect, Washington County wants to build a senior citizens recreation home, if you will, in Washington County, and they're able to spend, or they have some money to be able to spend for the construction of a whole new building, and they wanted to do it at Hagerstown Community College. Wow, this hospital is downtown Hagerstown, parking. It's kind of a natural, along with a veterans home and homeless. It's just ideal, and so it's all falling in place right now. Now, will anything happen? Who knows? Because it's money. And
well, one thing I was very actively involved in getting Phase 4 of Charlotte Hall. Louis Goldstein and I, when I happened to be down there, he happened to hand me the ball and he said, "Let's run with it." And the way that things go is you have to get the design money approved. And the design money is only 1/3 by the state, the other 2/3 is by the government. And then once you get your design money and that's done, then you put in for your construction money. Now, Phase 4 down at Charlotte Hall, I think, was $9 million. The state put in 3-something, and the feds put in 6-something. And of course, they're also involved with the running of the home. And so this is what I said. It's you have to get out high enough on the list at the feds, because you can have all the good intentions of the world. If you want to have a home where the federal government is going to be involved, you have to fall into that structure. Yes. And as I say, that was a good learning process for us. And at the time, Jesse Brown was Secretary of Veterans Affairs. He was a very, very good friend of mine. I made a phone call and he said, "Ray, you'll be in the top 10. So I was very, very, very pleased to be part of getting Phase 4 approved down there.
And that's such a beautiful campus down there as well.
That's fantastic. It really is.
Then you'd have to get, presumably, the $3 million was under the bonding authority of the state, financed by general obligation bonds. So you have to get in line there too. And
right.
Of course, it's been very difficult lately getting bond money.
Of course, with Louis where he was, it was a given, and he was on the ground floor. When they started, they got the land in 1975, and the first veteran didn't move into Charlotte Hall until 1985. So it was 10 years. It was a 10-year, and 10 years is a long time. Whenever you're doing construction and lining things up and everything, getting things going.